All right. Shalom. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Before I get started, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh by Hashem and Yahweh Shai by Hashem. Rachak Wadash. Double honors to my apostles and my elders, a great millstone who lead to rule well. Loving us, my fellow Akim, pushing the word in true faith and sincerity across the four corners. Shalom. Peace and blessings to the sincere listeners and the sincere subscribers of the Men in Doctrine Great Millstone. This is the brother Edified from GMS Atlanta Church coming with another lesson of the Spirit. It's going to be based off this article here from PBS and by extension GBP, in which I just realized this morning that GBP, I believe, stands for Georgia Public Broadcasting. So I believe that they're connected more than likely, PBS and GBP or GPB. I wanted to do a lesson on American consumerism. So I found this article, or the Spirit led me to this article. It's entitled "The Rise of American Consumerism." You can see here pictures of some them big boy automobiles. It says, at the end of World War II, American soldiers returned home to a country quite different from the one they had left 4 years earlier. Wartime production had helped pull America's economy out of depression, and from the late 1940s on, young adults saw a remarkable rise in their spending power. Jobs were plentiful, wages were high, and because of the lack of consumer goods during the war, Americans were eager to spend. During the same years, young couples were marrying and having children at unprecedented rates. New and expanded federal programs, including the GI Bill of Rights, allowed many young families to purchase their homes, often located in rapidly expanding suburbs. Now, I'm not going to get into all the nooks and crannies of all this, even going into the so-called black and brown experience in this time frame. And, this is I believe it's called revisionist history, to where, this was a time for rapid growth and expansion, primarily in white or red communities, white being red being white, if you can understand. I'm not going to get into that today. I just really want to paint the picture the Lord willing through the Spirit, going into the topic and concept of the rise of American consumerism. Okay. It says more, newer, better. After World War II, consumer spending no longer meant just satisfying an indulgent material desire. In fact, the American consumer was praised as a patriotic citizen in the 1950s. Okay, so the American consumer and American consumerism was in post-World War II, and specifically the 1950s, was patriotic. And if you have the eyes to see, you can begin to see how this devil, was trapping the American public into a snare. You can see it, Contributing to the ultimate success of the American way of life, the good purchaser devoted to more, newer, and better was the good citizen, historian Elizabeth Cohen explained. Since economic recovery after a decade and a half of depression and war depended on a dynamic mass consumption economy, consumerism, pragmatic spending, Americans invested in items based around home and family life. At war's end, the items people most desired included televisions, cars, washing machines, refrigerators, toasters, and vacuum cleaners. The machines that would help them modernize their lives. Between 1945 and 1949, Americans purchased 20 million refrigerators, 21.4 million cars, and 5.5 million stoves, a trend that continued well into the 1950s. Historian Elaine Tyler May noted, the values associated with domestic spending upheld traditional American concerns with pragmatism and morality, rather than opulence and luxury. Okay, let's read this again, because one way that Edom loves to slide the rug out from underneath you is through his words and verbiage. It says, historian Elaine Tyler May noted, The values associated with domestic spending upheld traditional American concerns with pragmatism and morality. See? So the values in that time were connected with traditional American concerns, okay? Being pragmatic, being useful, or let's look it up real quick. Because let's see. Bam. Bam, technology. Pragmatism. Pragmatism is a philosophical tradition that views language and thought as tools for prediction, problem solving. See, what's the word? Prudence. Pragmatism, that's the word I was looking for. Prudence. And thoughts as tools for prediction, problem solving, and action rather than describing, representing, or mirroring reality. Pragmatists contend that most philosophical topics, such as the nature of knowledge, language, concepts, meaning, belief, and science, are all best viewed in terms of their practical uses and successes. Pragmatism began in the United States in the 1870s, which was what? That was following World War II? Yeah, you got to do what you got to do to make the ends meet. You feel me? And morality, you see? So this is just, and of course I'm going to get into the scriptures. But the rise of this next level of American consumerism, it was about home. It was about family. It was about ease of life. It was about morality. It was about keeping the familial unit together and cohesive and moral, you see, rather than opulence and luxury. Okay, and even a few weeks back, the Captain Ababaja was speaking on luxury and how it's really a trap, and this goes right into it. Purchasing for the home helped alleviate traditional American uneasiness with consumption, the fear that spending would lead to decadence, because it was more practical. It was about, washing machines and toasters and automobiles. It was about getting tools and using technology to get certain things done. It wasn't about, Gucci shoes. I know I'm using Gucci, but it wasn't about luxurious shoes and scarves and BS, man. And big red boots and stuff. Cars and slacky, man. Them big red boots are off, man. Cars and TVs. Television and automobile sales skyrocketed in the 1950s. With the massive growth in suburban populations, automobiles were needed more than ever and were within reach for many first-time buyers. Families of all income brackets were buying televisions at a rate of $5 million a year. Some TV shows like The Goldbergs and The Honeymooners catered to working and middle-class viewers with storylines about ethnic families. In addition, television provided a potent medium for advertisers to reach inside American homes, creating desires for other products. Read that again. In addition, television provided a potent medium for advertisers to reach inside American homes, creating desires for other products. The rise of American consumerism. And we're almost done here. Had a funny thought come to mom, keep it to myself. The Good Life. Historian Elaine Tyler May believes that the federal government and the American people saw the new consumerism as a way to de-emphasize class differences while stressing traditional gender roles with the things that define the quote-unquote the good life. Within economic reach, working class people could achieve the upward mobility they craved by buying stuff. Consumerism in America, aka a trap, a snare. Selling in order to buy. In many ways, Tupperware reinforced the ideal of an efficient home and kitchen. After all, Tupperware was meant to help housewives maintain freshness and cleanliness in food storage and preparation, in which that was actually a good thing. What? That's enabling you to extend the shelf life of your food and goods for your family. Tupperware also helped fulfill the post-war desire for consumer goods, When asked how she recruited new dealers to her Tupperware distribution, Jean Conligue noted, "We tried to fill a need for something that they wanted, like new carpet or a refrigerator. And then we would map out for them how many parties they would have to hold. The company further reinforced consumption with their promotions and prizes. As rewards for their high sales, Tupperware dealers were rewarded with top-of-the-line appliances from washing machines to double boilers. So what's this saying? These growing American companies sought and found new ways to get the American consumer to produce for them, to create sales, to further get others to consume. So this is just food for thought. Like I said, kind of just using this article here as a means and a way to paint the picture of what, as is quoted in the title, the rise of American consumerism. Okay? Because it's important for us all to understand, especially now, we're not in a time to be wrapped up in buying stuff. Shoot it straight. We're not in a time, okay, in a space that we should be overly concerned with buying shit. Meaning what? We're in a time that is very important to use our resources, money being one of those resources, okay, to make wise moves and make wise decisions in what we're purchasing, because American consumerism is a trap established in America. Get to scripture, we're going to close out. This is 1 Timothy 6. I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, "But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content." And it's a much easier lifestyle. It's much easier on the mind. It's much easier on the body. It's much easier on the spirit. And it clears the way, it makes a path for spiritual insight and for spiritual growth to happen. Because instead of an individual being overly concerned in the opulence and the luxuries, quote unquote, that America, aka Babylon the Great, has to offer, you're no longer concerned and preoccupied in that. You now have time and space to do things that can give you spiritual gain. Verse 9, "But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare." See, this rise of American consumerism is tempting. It's a temptation. It's a snare. It's a trap. Because it never ends. It's a never-ending cycle. Just like in the late 40s and 50s, yeah, what were the big items to be consumed? It were automobiles, you know. It was appliances. It was TVs, you know. Even today, why do you think every year, okay, leading up into the end of the year, October, November, December, the beginning of the year, January, February, you know, depending on how they sell, why do you think when you go into these major, large, big box retailers, one of the things that you see are big ass TVs? That's because Edom Esau been running the same play since the 50s. Edom Esau been running the same play for 60, 70, 80 years. You see, and these American assholes, these American simpletons, keep falling into the same trap every year. Every year, ending the end of the so-called calendar year, just going further and further in debt, sinking further and further into this American consumeristic society, if that's a word, consumeristic, I don't know. If it's not, it should be. You know? And then come on the other side, and then what do they have to do? They have to go further into slavery because they're in debt. They're indebted. That's why godliness with contentment is such a great gain. Because on the back end of it, you have more time and space to labor and work for things that are of a higher calling and a higher nature than to be taking your black and brown ass to work. in which, yeah, of course, we understand we have to work to eat. We understand that. But the decisions we make now will help dictate and help enable the type of works that you're going to do later. I hope that makes sense, man. 1 Timothy 6:9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. That's heavy, man. True. Some precepts, come out. Yeah, it's broken down, but sometimes you got to just meditate, allow on a precept. 1 Timothy 6:9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts. You're going to fall into these things because you're being hasty. You're trying to make certain shit happen, trying to get certain things. And it's either not your time to get it, or you shouldn't even want it or desire it to that level in the first place. Which drown men in destruction and perdition. Verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. See, instead of focusing on the real work, the real labor, the real thing to be consumed, which is this truth, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you all neck deep in some BS, man. Because you succumb to the root of all evil, the love of money. If anything, if you're going to love anything, love the pursuit of money, because off of that, at least you'll get a spiritual gain and benefit. You'll acquire discipline, you acquire prudence, you acquire discernment, you acquire the ability to make sound, rational decisions. You understand the cycle of loss. You see, it's more than just the acquire. It's more than just the money. It's the pursuit. Meaning what? Now, of course, above anything, we should have a love and desire to serve Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai and do His will. To the fullness in our ability. But instead of focusing on the end result, how about taking heed to the path and the lessons that one will learn in the pursuing of something? That's way more valuable than actually acquiring the BS. Just saying. I'm not trying to make that no doctrine or anything like that, or shine it even in that type of light. But, a lot of times it's how you look and perceive things, man, that really will enable real growth, real development, real spiritual gain and characteristics, man. Verse 11, but thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness. See, that's what it's saying. Flee all that BS and follow after this. Follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. Bam. I couldn't have said it no better myself. Literally. 1 Timothy 6:11. But thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. Fight the good fight of faith. Lay hold on eternal life, whereunto thou art also called and hast professed a good profession before many witnesses. This is what it's about. You see? Because like I said, even the difference of the love of money and the love of the pursuit, the challenge, what will you gain? You'll understand, you have an opportunity to gain and understand and move in the spirit of righteousness. You know what? Yeah, I want to acquire this, but I'm not going to backdoor this person to do that. I'm not going to lie and steal and cheat this person to do that. Godliness, because I understand that my and our higher power, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, has a way that He deems proper to dictate and operate this world. And I got to move in accordance with that. Faith. I got faith that, I can move and do things the right way on the back end. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to take care of me and my household, sufficiently, man. Love. I got enough love for myself and for the body. I'm not going to be out here all out of pocket doing what, X, Y, Z to have that quick come up. Patience. I'm going to be patient in allowing Yahweh Shem Yahushai to move and structure things in my life that, it's going to all work out for the greater good. And meekness. Being humble and faithful enough and humble of mind and spirit enough to know, man, the Lord got me. The Lord got us. We're going to get through this thing. You see? The rise of American consumerism, man. Don't fall and be susceptible to that trap, So I'm ending lesson off here. Lord willing, you've been edified. Once again, before I close out, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to my apostles and my elders of Great Millstone who lead, teach, and rule well. Love and honor to my fellow Akim, pushing the word in true faith and sincerity across the four corners. Shalom, peace and blessings to the sincere listeners and the sincere subscribers of the Men and Doctrine of Great Millstone. Lord willing, you've been edified. Till next time, Shalom.